Welcome to the Prime Sports Media channel. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. What a hell of a day. What a hell of a game. I definitely want to get into this. I want to thank you all for coming over here to Prime Sports Media. It's a blessing, a new season. This is the second week of the season, and this one they were able to pull out. I didn't like the way things went last week. Remember, they created a situation in which they were able to make Georgia Tech have 3 turnovers, and unfortunately, they weren't able to capitalize on those turnovers as they were able to do so against Delaware. And I think this was a fantastic. There were some issues in the game, some issues I'm concerned about that we're going to talk about. But overall, I like the idea of the situation that they came out. They got to win. You've got to get a win under your belt. You've got to win to get some momentum going, to get some confidence going with the players, the team, the coaches. You've got to get everybody pumped up. The fan base, everybody has to use this game, as there were some great things that happened on defense. There were some things in offense that looked good. Ryan came in the game and showed you that maybe there may be a shakeup in the quarterback selection on this team. We'll have to see where Coach Prime wants to go with that. But there were some good things, some bad things that we can critique and we can look at. But the bottom line is you've got to beat the teams that you should beat. Now to me, they should have beaten this team 40, 50 points they could have put on the board, because there were a lot of opportunities where they could have scored and made things happen. One of the concerns that I had is that in the early going of the game, once again, like last week, there seemed to be some things that were a little stagnant, okay? Like it seemed like it was taking a while for the offense to get going, to get in the groove. And of course, Salter, of course, he was taken out of the game early on. He did score the first touchdown of the game. This is very important because he scored in the first quarter when it was about 5 minutes and 33 seconds left. He was able to put the football in the goal line using his feet, using his legs. And we know that last week, Coach Prime had made a hint that he wanted him to use his legs a little bit more. That was all the talk going into this week, that maybe Salter should utilize some of his scrambling ability. And of course, he got the first touchdown of the game for CU, putting him on the board 7-0 with a 9-yard run in the first quarter. Let's clap to that. But Coach Prime decided to make a change. I think he needed someone to give him a different pace, because one of the things that I noticed about Salters that he'll have to work on, it does concern me somewhat, is that he has the athletic ability to scramble around and eat up yards very quickly. But the problem that I see with Salters at times, and we witnessed it in the game a week ago against Georgia Tech, is that at times Salter's accuracy is a little off. Like 2 times, last week he had, I believe it was Micah Welsh completely open, where he could have literally ran the ball into the end zone for a touchdown. And Michael Welsh, he threw the ball and it wasn't a well-thrown football. I believe it was Michael Welsh. It was someone, but it was not well thrown. This week in this game, we sort of had the same thing where he had a guy wide open and the ball was not thrown with the type of velocity and accuracy that we have been used to seeing at CU when we had Shedeur Sanders. You could say, now a lot of people said that Shedeur wasn't athletic enough, but one thing we knew is that once Shedeur got that ball out of his hands and he saw you wide open, it was going to be an accurate throw. What I'm saying is that, not to punch down on the young man, I think that he needs to get back in the laboratory this week, and I think that's an area he needs to continue to work on, which is accuracy, making sure when you got a guy wide open, there's no excuse for you to not be able to make that throw and throw it in a way that makes it easy for your receiver, your running back, your receiver, your tight end to catch that ball. So I wonder if that played a role in Coach Prime's decision to mix things up, because he saw that they went up 7. Then it was 10-7 because Delaware was able to march down with their quarterback and get a score, making it 7-10. All these things happened in the first half. And I just wonder, I think Coach Prime made the right decision because you saw that there was momentum that CU was able to pick up, particularly when they put Ryan in the game at quarterback. Now, Coach Prime told us that he was going to put Juju in the game. I guess he wanted to see what Juju could do. Juju is more of a pocket-style type quarterback. And for whatever reason, when Juju was in the game, that's when the offensive line was having some of their breakdowns in coverage protection for Juju. And Juju, in my estimate, wasn't really able to show what he could fully do at all. And Coach Prime did say that no matter what was happening in the game, that he would put him in the game. And but I just thought that for whatever reason, I don't know if it was the play calling, just that Juju was never able to really, he made one completed pass, but I never felt like Juju was able to fully do the things that we know he could do. So Juju went 2 for 4, 8 yards, an average of 2.0. That wasn't great. They brought him in. Coach Prime didn't like the pace of the game when Juju was out there. He really, when coaches put another quarterback in the game, they're really looking for a spark. I think Coach Prime was looking for a spark. He did tell us he was going to give Juju an opportunity, and he did for a short time. I guess Salters was doing whatever. Salters did the best he could in the beginning when he got that touchdown. But I think Coach Prime wanted a change of pace. And what happened is when he took Juju out of the game. Of course, he took Salters out of the game early on. And I was surprised that he took him out so early on. But really, I got to be surprised at one thing. And this young man's been waiting behind the wings for a long time to show what he could do. And Ryan went out there, showed out and showed off. Been waiting behind the scenes for quite some time to show what he could do in actually a game, in game regulation when things really count. He's not coming in, I know he came in at one point in time when Shador was hurt in a game in years past. But he shocked. I think he surprised everybody. His accuracy, that was the one thing that stood out to me, is that he was a very accurate quarterback today. And I got to be honest, we may have a quarterback controversy. I want to put this back up here because I think we've got a controversy going on right now. Potentially, because when he played the way he played, I want to know everybody that follows this channel, that supports CU, we want what's best for CU. We want the best players out there that give them the best chance to win, no matter what. But I want everybody to be honest and leave a comment in the comment section of this video when you get a chance. Do you feel that Ryan has earned the opportunity to start next week? That Coach Prime should turn over the apple cart and say, I did say that Salter would be the starter. We want to go slow with Juju because Julian Lewis, is the future of this ball club, of this football program. And I think Coach Prime does not want to hurt the young man's confidence. You want to put him in good situations. But honestly, everybody, should Ryan get another shot to play and start the beginning of the game? Because if he could come in the game and he didn't play, this guy has not played a lot of football in regulations for CU. If this guy could come into the game after sitting for some time and he could give them that type of energy, be it is against Delaware. Delaware is not a world beater by any means, everybody. And welcome everybody inside the chat room. Thank you. Prime Sports Media is back. It's a new season, so you're going to be getting these live streams every week. As much as I can give it to you, live streams after each game, a post-game. If I don't go live, I'll give you a pre-produced post-game show, but I'm going to give you post-game shows. We'll start putting out the pre-game analysis videos when they start getting into Big 12 play and playing some of the more, prominent teams. But Delaware was not a world beater, but we got to give credit where credit is due that this young man came in the game and he gave energy to the team. You could see that the teammates, that CU's players on the sideline were giving him a pat on the back. They were happy for him generally. They were genuine, should I say. That's what I'm saying. They were genuinely happy for what he was doing. But the reality is that football is tempo, football is timing, football is confidence in the players that you have on the field, and you need the players on the field to be confident in the guy that's leading them at quarterback, especially everybody. And so everybody in the chat room and those that will be listening, should Coach Prime, and Coach Prime said today, and I'm going to play you a clip from his press conference today. He said when they asked him, hey, what about the quarterback situation? And he says he's already run the quarterback situation through his mind. But I'm saying to you, as people who are a part of the fan base, who follow CU, follow what's happening, should Ryan start next week's game? I'm going to make a bold prediction, a bold statement here. I believe he should start next week, and I believe that Coach Prime may flip it and have him go in the game, because if he's playing that well in that game, that really got us. And I'm going to say again, the passing game was a little sluggish. I'm not putting shade on Salter, but the reality is the passing game was very sluggish today. Once he put Ryan in there, the passing game took off, and you had people like Sincere Brown showing you what he can do. So I'm on this soapbox for this young man because I think it's worth a try. We're here to win. This isn't about trying. We don't want to hurt. It's not about, I don't want to hurt people's feelings. No, if he's playing better football and if he gets out there and doesn't play well, then you got to put Salter back in the game. And one of the problems with this, and they were saying this today, that sometimes it's dangerous when you're playing multiple quarterbacks, because it begins to create this thought in people's mind. This is really the press, that, if you're playing three quarterbacks, that really means that you don't really have a quarterback because you're not really sure. So you're going to hear those haters in the media throw all that type of statement out there. But we'll see what's gonna happen next week. What I want to do, everybody, there are some players, and I'm excited about this young man right here, Taylor, because this young man right here has all the right skills and style. He's got speed. He's elusive. And Coach Prime said we need to get the ball back in his hands and get the ball in his hands as much as possible. And I'm totally down with that. Let me go right here. And remember, in the second quarter, I believe it was 9 minutes left in the quarter when number 20, Taylor, ran the ball. I think he caught the ball and ran the ball in for a touchdown. That's 21-yard run by this young man. Let's clap it up.
Tell the truth.
Alicia's in the house. Peggy Rosser, everybody that's here, thank you. Williams, Blue Devil Glean, Marlo, I see you in the house. Thank you for being here. Nicole, thank you for being here. All of you that are here, we're going to keep this thing going over here. we've got Salter does not look confident. Right. And remember, I'm trying to be as respectful. I don't want to punch down the young man, but I do think that there's some comfortability issues. I think that was very prominent in last week's game where he didn't look as comfortable. Remember, he has not played in this level of football. We have to be honest about that. Salter played at Liberty. That football conference that he played in is not a world beater conference. The talent level is not the talent level that he's going to be going up against in the Big 12. And that is a concern for me because he has to get his confidence up. And I don't know if Coach Prime taking him out of the game, and I know Coach Prime is sensitive to this, sometimes when you take a young man out of the game like that, it can hurt his confidence because now he feels like you've given up on him. So this is why switching up quarterbacks like that can be a very delicate and very sensitive issue going forward as the season begins to wind itself into going deeper and deeper into the season where you're playing better and better teams. So that's a concern that I have. Once again, Ryan threw 2 touchdowns in this game. That was excellent, but we're not going to set up here and deny the fact that Salter did get a running touchdown. I spoke about that already. And what I want to do, everybody, is I want to put up a stat right here. So originally, CU obviously was the favorite to beat Delaware. Once again, Delaware is not a world beater team. So there are some concerns that I had in this game where I really think that CU should have put up damn near 50 points on this team. I think at times it took long for their offense to develop, and Delaware has some good players on that team, especially in their secondary. They've got some good linebackers, and they got some guys that have come over in the transfer portal for them. And we were favored at 93.5% to beat them. They were at 6.5%, and we should have beat them. But I think we should have been able to beat them more efficiently. Meaning, I think this game should have been a complete blowout. Yes, they beat them 31-7, but I think they should have put up 50 points on this team. I think that the running game should have been more efficient than it was. It seemed that Michael Welsh, when they gave him the ball, for whatever reason, Delaware's defense was able to get back there and stop them. And once again, they do have some good linebackers on that team. So I had a chance to look at the personnel on Delaware's team, and they're no slouches either. They are very talented, but going forward in the Big 12 conference, where they're going to play against much better teams. Today I watched Iowa State against Iowa. Iowa State looks real good. I think they're ranked 16th in the country. Maybe they moved up to 15th now since beating Iowa. They look really good. When you're going up against those type of teams in the Big 12, CU can't afford to struggle somewhat in some areas that we saw today against a team like this that they should, in my opinion, they should roll them over by 50, 60 damn points because they've got the talent, they've got the wide receivers, and I believe they've got a running game this year that they got to stick to and stay on. Let me put this stat up here. Everybody that's coming in the chat room, thank you. Over here, you know you're going to get a comprehensive program, a comprehensive show. We don't do clickbait over here. We do facts. We do football talk. And I appreciate all of you in the chat room. I give you a clap. So let's look at this right now. This is the thing that really was interesting to me. Unlike last week, CU was able to still keep themselves balanced with their total yards. Like, for example, Delaware did not put up 400 yards of total offense or 500 yards of total offense. Last week, Georgia Tech put up, 463 yards of total offense. And Coach Prime said, when you let a team do that, you're not going to win. Well, this week, Delaware put up 396 yards of total offense. But check this out. CU was able to put up 398 yards of total offense. So they were able to match the intensity. This is the thing that really stood out to me from last week to this week. And if they can keep this up and learn and continue to learn to cash in on those turnovers. This time they were able to cash in on turnovers. And this time they made Delaware cough the ball up 3 times, and CU had 0 turnovers. It's fantastic. Look, everybody, the last couple of years, that was an area that CU struggled in, where they would turn the ball over, right? Where they would have bad time of possession. Well, this week, there's some improvement. Time of possession for CU was 32 minutes and 57 seconds to Delaware's 27 minutes and 3 seconds. Once again, I've been preaching this for the last few years. They've got to get time of possession. You got time of possession. You control the clock. You control the tempo, but you got to score off of opportunities. One of the concerns that I have with CU from time to time is that they sometimes don't capitalize on opportunities that are clearly right there for them. There were times in this game where they kind of didn't capitalize, but then they turn around and capitalize. And all of this started to come together when Ryan came into the football game and gave them the extra boost that they needed. We got to give them the credit, everybody. We didn't see this coming, but damn it, it's here. Maybe this guy might be what the doctor ordered this season. Now, I want to continue to go over here and put up another stat line for you. This is all the players in the game on both teams. Once again, Ryan put up 2 touchdowns. He threw for 157 yards. He went 7 for 10. Delaware's quarterback, Nick, I don't like this. He got 312 yards throwing the ball. He went 18 for 36. He got 1 touchdown, but got 1 interception. That's good that we got him. We got him to cough the ball up. Jay Silver, the running back, had 47 yards carry. So what did we do? We stopped the run. That's very obvious. That's one of their top backs on this team, and we held him to 47 yards total rushing for the day. Now, the man who stood out for us in the running back area was Simeon Price. Price was fantastic. He had he only had 9 carries for 55 yards. 55 yards isn't, it's not a world beater number, but the reason why he only had 55 yards, and if I'm not mistaken, here we go. Let's go into this a little bit deeper. He had 9 carries, 55 yards for an average of 61.1. His longest run for the day was 24 yards. Taylor again, he did his thing. 7 yards for 48 yards on the ground. Okay. Michael Welsh had 7 carries for only 14 yards on the ground. Once again, I'm going to keep saying this and saying this. Looks like Salter had 25 yards rushing. I'm going to keep saying this and saying this. We've got to run the ball better than this. And it should have happened to me. We should have had someone get over 100 yards rushing against Delaware today. And it could have been Michael Welsh. But for some reason, the running game in that interior of the offensive line, and for some reason, the offensive running game just was not the dominant part of our offense today. Now, I think Coach Prime said that overall, they got about 100. And let me see something again. Let me put this back up here again. Let me see. Turnovers, 21 to their 19. Delaware. Overall, Coach Prime said there was I think total yards in rushing was about 131 total yards in totality amongst all the different running backs. But this is a game in which I thought Michael Welsh could have put up over 100 yards rushing. The young man Taylor, and of course, Simeon Price could have put up. This is a game where I think they should have spent a little bit more time really getting that running game together, because I thought that they could definitely run against this team. But once again, Delaware does have very good linebackers, very good safeties, and so they were able to negate our running game to a certain degree. And once again, it was Ryan who pretty much pumped us up in the air game attack. So let's go back up here again. And we see that the receiver, Sincere Brown. Man, let's give him a clap. This young man, Sincere Brown, is something else. I'm very excited about this young man. He got 120 yards in this game. 120 yards for four receptions for a touchdown. He was on fire. Ryan threw the football to him that got him that touchdown that really broke the doors open on them going on a 31-7 win over Delaware. I like that. It was good. I want to see Sincere Brown more involved in the offense. Unfortunately, today, Draylon Miller, for whatever reason, they weren't able to get him in the flow of the game, and hopefully he can come back next week and redeem himself, and they can redeem the playbook to make sure they get him more involved. But Sincere Brown, this is what I've been waiting for ever since they got this young man. He's big, he's tall, he's lean, and he's very shifty, and he had a breakout game today with 120 yards, right? Their guy, Delaware, has a top receiver. His name is Staub. Jay Staub had 85 yards. I think we kind of kept him in check for the most part. He didn't go completely buck wild on us. This is their guy right here, who I've seen clips of him, and he can be very effective as a receiver. But today, we sort of kept him in check to the best of our ability, and I like what Sincere Brown did out there today. Give him another clap. So I'm very, very happy about the young receiving corps. Coach Prime has already told us that there's some very talented young men on this team. People asked him, they were trying to ask him or question him about why he put Ryan out there. He says, look, I'm in practice. I see what these guys are doing in practice. I see what they're capable of. I see what their confidence is and what have you, okay? Oh, another guy, Matavius French. Let me give him some credit. He came over, played pretty well on defense today. For the time that he had to make plays, French came in. He got one sack, and just with that one sack, I think it was a momentum changer for the team, because whenever you can put pressure on a quarterback, and Delaware's quarterback is pretty good, he's pretty mobile. Anytime you can get pressure on him, that's the way to go. Okay, Martavius French had 6 total tackles, 4 solo tackles, and a sack in the game today, which was excellent. Now, let's go over here and talk about another young man on defense who I thought was Jeremy Brown. This young man right here, let me put him up right here. Brown did some good things today. Brown had 8 total tackles, 4 solos, and I think he was involved in a forced fumble today. He was fantastic when he had opportunities to make something happen. So, even if a guy doesn't get a lot of tackles in the game, let me put this back up here, right? 8 right here, 4 solo tackles, 8 tackles. Even if a guy doesn't get 12 tackles or 15 tackles in a game, little things like getting a sack, forcing a turnover, to me, when a guy comes in a game and does that, he deserves to get his flowers, because football is a game of inches, and little things like making someone turn the ball over, little things like stopping runs, just those little things that you do, it all adds up towards the team winning in the end. Okay, I want to take this off the board, and I want to get into another area of their offense that I don't think I talked about yet. And I want to go over here to receiving. Once again, we know what Sincere Brown did today. Joseph Williams, who I feel is still trying to find himself in the offense, right? Let's be honest. He's still trying to find himself. A talented young man when he was at Tulsa, didn't get as much playing time that he should have gotten at Tulsa to really build up the confidence more. But today he had 4 receptions, 55 yards. His longest catch was for 31 yards. And we already know Sincere Brown had his longest catch for 71 yards in his breakout game today, right? So both of these young men, we need them to get more involved and be more involved. But another person that really had some impact in the receiving game for CU today, when Ryan came in and changed the momentum with the way he was able to accurately pass the football. And once again is number 20, Taylor. Taylor had 4 receptions for 49 yards, and off of the 49 yards in his second debut, he had 1 touchdown, and his longest reception for the day, everybody, was 22 yards.
Tell the truth.
I'm just breaking it down to you. Very important. We got some very talented young men on this football team that we cannot deny are very good. Let me take that off the screen there. Let me put myself back up here. And we got some very talented young men on this football team. And this is why when you've got a team like Delaware that's not as good as you, that's why you got to put your foot on them and keep your foot on them, keep the gas on the pedal, don't let up, and put those points, rack those points up, get that confidence that you need going into next week. How do you all feel about that? Shirley, good to have you over here, my system, to give you a clap. Thank you all. Kiwana, what's going on, man? So you found my sports channel. Thank you, Kiwana, for coming over. Thank you very much. Let me give you a clap. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Ross, to everybody that's in the house tonight, thank you very much. Don't go nowhere. I've got some press conference footage from Coach Prime. I've got some other things to go over with you. This is what was crazy about Sincere. I got to go back to Sincere Brown because I want to break down the moment that this whole thing happened. Remember when he got the touchdown with a 71-yard reception? This happened in the second quarter, second half of the game with 13 minutes and 46 seconds, right? That was fantastic. Then let's talk about McPherson, Alexander, who got a block. I think he blocked a punt by Delaware in the third quarter of the game. So there were some things that Coach Prime can look at in this game that he can be proud of, that he could tip his hat to, because there were some things that was happening on their special teams has been on the money, everybody. CU special team has been very good. And we remember last year and the year before that, the special teams, as Coach Prime said, were not so special. Well, this year, the kicking game is better. The guy that they got, I think he's from, what was that young man? I think that young man's from the UK. That young man is kicking great punts. See, having a great punter actually benefits the team because you get these teams in bad field position, and we saw it throughout the game. He was able to get that ball down in the 5 and the 10. The special teams have been special. Even in the first game that they lost, special teams has been playing special. Coach Prime told us that he felt that the special teams would be an improvement on this football team. Okay, so I like that. The block punt by McPherson was fantastic because once again, it shifted the momentum of the game back to CU and cannot be denied. Let's go over to Micah Welsh. Even though he had 14 yards, he didn't have a world beater day. We cannot deny this happened in the fourth quarter, everybody. I give you the comprehensive breakdown here, everybody. In the fourth quarter, with 14 minutes and 15 seconds in the game, he ran a 10-yard touchdown into the end zone. That's Michael Welsh. Despite the fact that he didn't put up 100 yards, he didn't put up 60-something yards like he did a week ago, but even though he didn't put up a whole bunch of yards, and I really wish they would put the ball in the running back's hands on this team more. Coach Prime said that this would be the year that he would run the ball. Coach Prime, let me have a private conversation with you, my brother. Please get more rotation on the running game. I'm just asking, Coach Prime, not telling you what to do. Just please. I think you got this man right here. I talked about this before. You got Marshall Faulk, a Hall of Fame yellow jacket wearer, played for the Rams, won Super Bowl. This man, it was fantastic in his day. Please, we need more running. We need to see what these backs can really do. But despite that, Michael Welsh put up that 10-yard run in the fourth quarter, much needed. Now I want to go back to Jeremy Brown, because I did make mention about, look, we got to give these young players their flowers. I did make mention about the turnover, but I want to give you the moment that it happened. That moment was a fumble recovery by number 42, Brown, who you see right there. I just want to remind you, because we have to highlight the positives in this game and recognize that there are some improvements this year that we did not see in the last few years. And Coach Prime said they may not have all the big stars that they had once before in the last few years with Travis Hunter and Shador, but he feels that they are overall a better football team. Okay, now another young man, and I want to make sure I'm correct about this, and y'all let me know if I'm correct. Remember this young man right here, this is R.J. Johnson, who originally came over in the transfer portal from Arkansas, if I'm correct, everybody. And he got an interception in this game. He returned an interception for 20. I believe it was 20 for, what was it, a 21-yard or 24-yard return. And let's go into the defensive stats here. And let's make sure we got this correct. I believe that's what happened. So he got an interception. He got 3 tackles and 3 solo tackles. But I think some point in the game, if I'm correct, everybody, if I'm not correct, please correct me in the chat room, in the comment section. I think it was R.J. Johnson who made an interception that was late in the fourth quarter. Can anybody in the chat room correct me if I am wrong on that? We got saying teams can get better, but they don't have much time. We got BYU in a few weeks. He didn't return. He got the interception. But what I mean by return, I'm sorry about that. He didn't return it for a touchdown, but when he got the ball, he did run a little bit. I think it was, I got it. It was for 2 yards. It was 2 yards, everybody. There it is.
Tell the truth.
Tell the truth. R.J. Johnson, who came over from Arkansas in the transfer portal, got the interception in that fourth quarter late in the game, and it wasn't a 24-yard return. It was a 2-yard return. I was reading my notes incorrectly there. It was a 2-yard return, and you know what I got to say about that? Hip, hip, hooray. Thank you for folks in the chat room. He got the interception. Yeah, he didn't run much. Right, because he got 2 yards in his return. But thank you for what you said. Marlo says this: front line got to get off on the blocks right. They got to get off on the blocks right. And the offensive line, I've got to be honest, I do believe that they are much improved from last year. But one of the problems I had, there were moments when Delaware ran some exotic blitzes. And there were times when the offensive line did not pick up the linebacker coming in, and they were able to get sacks. And at that time they got a sack on Juju. And I did not like seeing Juju, and I'm being honest with y'all, I didn't like seeing Juju get sacked like that. You know, he's a young man coming out of high school, still 17 years old, still has a lot to learn, but I didn't particularly like the way that whole thing went down there. But the offensive line has got to watch out for those exotic blitzes, talk to each other, work together as a team, pick up any gaps in the offensive line when you've got these, because linebackers are going to hit the gap. Safeties are going to come in and hit the gap. They're going to run. And see, that's where when I do my pre-game analysis, that's where I'm going to look at the different defenses that these teams play against CU and talk about what they're playing. Are they playing a 4-3 formation? Are they playing a 3-4 package? Are they playing some elaborate 2-2-5? Very elaborate defenses to understand what they're trying to do and the personnel that they're playing. And I'm going to go over those things when I do pregame analysis on some of these better teams that they're going to have to match up with. So let's go over here. Once again, Coach Prime, you could tell during this game that there were times when Coach Prime was frustrated and a little upset with his offense as it got stagnated, which is why, all due respect to Salter, right? Not to punch down on the young man, because hopefully he learned something from this situation. Hopefully Salters will get better and he will play and redeem himself, given whether the Coach Prime and the coaching staff decide to say, you know what, we're going to go with Ryan because of how he played, or we're going to give Salter another chance to show us that he can get this offense going in the right direction a lot quicker. But let me do something right here. I want to talk about their offense. Everybody kept talking about their quarterback, right? I think that he put up some passing numbers, but I think for the most part, I think the quarterback last week for Georgia Tech did a little bit more damage to us than this. I think King last week did more damage to us than this guy right here. But he went 18 for 36 for 312 yards, 1 interception, 1 touchdown. Once again, Silver, we pretty much held him to 13 yards as his longest run, 47 yards, as I said before. Really, their backs did not do a lot of damage to us. And then their receiving core, they got 2 receivers that put up 80-something yards on us. At times the secondary is going to have to make their adjustments and what have you. But even though their receivers, one Thaw put up 85 yards on us, Kelly, number 9, put up 83 yards on us, on our defense. This is the thing that I'm most proud of. We did not give up a touchdown to any of their receivers, and I like that. Another thing, if I'm not mistaken, we did not give up a rushing touchdown from the quarterback like we did last week when we went against King of Georgia Tech. I like that too. So that is very, very important. Let's go to Coach Prime right now and get his perspective on what happened. Everybody, just to let you know, because this is how YouTube works, when you use any type of copyright type material, you must do what they call a reaction to it, where you stop it, you give commentary, you play it, and then you stop it. Because I know that people always say, man, play the whole video. You don't understand how YouTube works. If I play the whole video and give no commentary, I could get a copyright strike. I can get a warning, what have you, because they will say that you didn't make it unique. When you do reaction, for those of you who may want to create a YouTube channel, when you do reaction videos, you must stop and give comment to make it a unique video and change the video to order to avoid that type of strike on you. That's why I do it. A lot of people don't understand that. When you do YouTube videos, you will learn it. You will learn it because YouTube will send you that message and say, oh, this got a strike because you did not make it unique and you did not make proper commentary. So just let y'all know as warning. Here we go, everybody. And I appreciate all of you watching. Here we go.
Yeah, I know exactly how I'm going to handle the quarterback situation. I'm not going to say it, but yeah, I'm not lost for direction.
Hey, Coach. Jack Carlo.
Carlo, my man.
Congrats on the win, Coach.
Thank you, Jack.
Touched on this a little bit in your opening statement, but
Yes, sir.
along with Staub, Ben Finiseth, and Jeremiah Brown, guys that have been here for a long time, also had strong games.
Yeah.
What does that kind of say about those three?
Well, the play that you're talking about with those two, I think it was a play that receiver or a running back got out of there, and he cut back. Jeremiah forced a cutback. So that's something that we do. We don't stop running. We don't stop pursuit. We show that every day. And he forced him back to cut back, and Ben was there. When he cut back, and Ben is using his head like he always does and made the play. So it was a big hustle and an effort play by two guys who understand who we are as a defense, who we are as a team, and what we desire from our recruits as well as the personnel on the field.
I like what Coach Prime had to say there in terms of what he is expecting from the players. There's a standard that he is setting at CU. Remember, let's keep this in mind. When he got to CU, everybody, it was a complete mess. He didn't have good players there. He had to totally change everything over. And we kept saying, believe in the process. It takes time. And remember, there's another recruitment class that he'll be bringing in. So I just think that this season, I like, despite the way they played a week ago, losing the way they did when they should have won that game, and even the problems that they had in this game from time to time, I still like the direction of where things are going. Quarterback situation is going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Let's get back to Coach Prime, everybody, shall we?
Fantastic job. I haven't watched the whole game, on tape, so I don't know. I'm not going to brag too much. I don't know how they really did. But that play was phenomenal. I love him. Everybody know I love my band, especially in Jeremiah as well. Jeremiah been with me for 5 years, man. Feel like he's one of mine.
Hey, Coach Brian, how you doing, sir?
Jeremiah, this is the man that I just was talking about earlier, who made the big-time fumble recovery. I think someone blocked the punter. The young man went out there and did what was necessary. He's been with Coach Prime for a very long time, as Coach Prime said. Here we go.
Good.
I have two questions for you. First off, when they made it 10-7, was there any thought in your mind of maybe altering your quarterback plan and going back to Caden at that point?
No. I had a plan. I was going to stick with my plan. The game don't predicate the plan that I had inside. And I prayed about it. So I'm really not going to alter that. So worked out just as I expected it to work out.
And then the second question is defense. Probably gave it too many yards for your liking, but only 7 points. So how would you assess the defense overall today?
We got to tighten up some things, especially I don't think Preston had his best game, and he's one of our dogs. He's one of our guys that we count on to play to another level. But he tightened up the ship.
Shout out to Preston Hodge. Remember, Preston Hodge is a new father right now, and fatherhood definitely opens the door to you for you to have a different perspective on life. My concern, Coach Prime, is that once again, even though Delaware the running backs didn't put up big numbers against us, I'm still concerned about the defensive front. As folks said in the chat room here, the defensive front, everybody, and you all agree, I thank you for being here, the defensive front is going to have to tighten up what they do. Okay? They're going to have to not leave these gaps open where you get because there were times when Delaware running backs or running back Silver was able to make some interesting plays where you saw, wow, the seas are parting open. They're going to have to tighten up that. That's been one of the still remains their problem, to consistently have better run stop defense. And the defensive front is going to have to hit those gaps. You need the linebackers, everybody in the secondary reading what's happening, because that could be still the Achilles heel of this football team going forward, is their ability to stop teams from moving the ball on them on the ground. When that happens, you're making it easy for your opponent's quarterback to have a very easy game against you. Let's continue.
The second half. Also, DJ, one of our dogs, he can't give up that pass down there in the red zone because he's one of our dogs as well. But other than that, we made some plays. We just got to be a little tighter defensively and understand our assignments and alignment intact at all times. Yes, sir.
He's talking about DJ McKinney, who is one of the top defensive backs in the country, a guy that the NFL is looking at. And Coach Prime saying that he's going to have to tighten up what he's doing as well, because he's one of the leaders in that secondary. Let's continue to hear what Coach Prime is saying right here. I appreciate you all being here, listening to the Prime Sports Media Program. I'm glad to be back. New season. Got a whole bunch of reasons to go live, put out content, and continue talking about what's going on. By the way, if you have not, follow my Facebook Facebook page for this channel is what I really was trying to say. And it goes by the same name, Prime Sports Media. I got about, 86 or so, a number of people that follow the Facebook page. If you do have Facebook, just put in Prime Sports Media and follow the page over there. Over there, I put more video content of the team practicing, Coach Prime talking to the players, interacting, and we'll be dropping more visual content over there over the next couple of days since the season is up and running now. Everybody, thank you again.
Tell the truth.
Let's go back to Coach Prime and what he's saying.
Coach, John Treach, 9 News. Beyond his efficiency, did you get a sense that the team was energized behind Staub's play?
Well,
Staub's,
everybody's energized when they see success.
Staub's was playing well.
And Staub jumping in there. And
Staub.
His first opportunity is the 2-minute drill is phenomenal because, see, thank you, Lord, for sharing.
Ryan Staub did a great job today. We can't deny it.
I'm at practice. You guys don't get to see practice. So I get to see the whole practice. So my decisions are not just based on what I see in a game. My decisions are based on a lot about what I see in practice and what I know to be true and what should happen based on preparation and practice.
Mm-hmm.
And it happened.
Yes.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
I want to stop it right there. I'm going to play some more of that. I'm glad that Coach Prime said that because that's one of the things that people in the press tend not to understand, that Coach Prime is seeing things that they can't see. He's in practice. He has confidence. I think he kind of shocked the media today. I think he shocked the media with the way he brought in the 3 rotation of all 3 quarterbacks, right? And I'm sure you're going to hear everybody on ESPN and Fox, SF1, everybody. I'm sure some people are going to have their criticisms, right? But Coach Prime, obviously in this situation, he knew what the hell he was doing. Let's get back.
I'm doing well. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
Scott Proctor at DMVR. Sincere kind of broke out today.
Sincere.
Yards. How cool is that to see him get an opportunity?
Man, you have no idea. Sincere came in the back, in the equipment room and gave me the biggest hug, and he was so happy. He was so elated because you have no idea, guys. We ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry. We have a tremendous receiving room.
Oh, hell yeah, you do.
They just need opportunity.
Yes.
That's it. All those guys could get down, man. All those guys are really good. They're explosive. I think Williams, he caught him. He had, I don't have the stats in front of me, but Joseph had not a great game, but he made some great plays, and they're capable. We just got to do what we do. How much did we run for today? I'm sorry. 131. I'll take that.
Let's talk about Joseph right now. Again, Joseph is a young man who came over in the transfer portal, as you know, from Tulsa. He, I think he was very underused there, but I did a video about him. He has some very exciting videotape, very exciting catches. He's a guy that can get up and get the ball. And today, again, he didn't have, a world beater day, but let's see what he did have. Again, I said this earlier, put this up here. Joseph Williams had 4 catches for 55 yards with an average of 13.8 average in his second debut today. I want to see that go up. We know what Sincere Brown did with the 120 yards total receiving yards today. We need to see Joseph more involved in the game. I think it's going to take a while for some of these guys to get comfortable with playing at this level of football. Joseph, like Salters, is a guy who probably is still trying to find his way at this level of play. Now, of course, he didn't play against a Big 12 team, but last week he played against a Georgia Tech team right out of the ACC. And BYU, as you all said, you got BYU coming around in a few weeks. We've got some talented Big 12 teams that's coming up, and we need these young men to step up. And I think Coach Prime has got the right approach. Let's continue right here.
We got to do better than that. That was good.
So you got to do better than that, he says.
But that consumes time, though, when you're running that at the volume that we're running. I'm proud of that.
Coach Liam Howard, ScoBuff Sports. You mentioned the specialists in your opening statement.
Yes,
I want
sir.
to focus specifically on Damon Greaves and the game that he had. What type of contribution does that give to your team when he's able to pin the opponents within the 5-yard line at the 1 with those types of
It's
plays?
new mate, right? New mate is unbelievable, man. Like, you got to understand how the guys are energized. You know, I often have said in front of you ladies and gentlemen, that we want to know we have 7 guys on each side of the ball that's going to win their matchups, and that way, you know, you're going to pretty much win a game, because you can have 4 people, and in football you can.
All right. What I want to do is I want to talk about that, what Coach Prime just said. Remember I said earlier in this podcast, the special teams has improved. They've got a kicker out of this world. I think the young man's from the UK. He kept kicking the ball, and they kept getting Delaware in bad field position, making them work out of the 5, out of the 10, work out of their own, close to their own backfield. That was excellent, because when you have a good punter, a good kicker, that also helps you to control possession, control tempo of the game, and you put teams like Delaware in a bad disposition that they don't want to necessarily be in, everybody. And so I like that. I like that they were able to create that type of drama and problem for Delaware as it relates to the special teams. And this is what they're going to need going forward when they start playing the BYUs and so many other great teams in the Big 12 that they're going to be matching up against. So this is good. I mean, once again, Delaware was not a world beater team. They do have some talent on the team. We clearly saw some of their talent, but this is a good, I think, confident booster for both players on the defense, offense, and also for those players who did not play their best game. This should be a motivating factor for them to come out there next week and exercise their demons for what they didn't do a week ago. I think Salter will have a lot to think about. Like I said, we don't want to crush the young man's confidence. I think that hopefully the young man will learn from this. As far as Juju, I don't know what Juju could actually learn from his situation, because he was brought into the game where things were getting a little weird. That's when Delaware seemed to be able to, you know, they were blitzing him because they knew he was a freshman. They knew he was a young quarterback. And we know that traditionally, whether it be NFL football or even college football, when you've got a guy who's fresh to the lead or fresh to the football level, they're going to test you. And the best way to test a young quarterback who doesn't have any college football experience is to blitz them. And they were able to do that and put a little pressure on him. So hopefully he'll learn that it's a whole different game in college football than it was in high school. But I think Coach Prime has to be very delicate and slow with the development of Juju, because we know that Juju will be the future and is the future of the quarterback room. So I think getting him out there, get him out there in the best situations. In your mind, you're figuring, hey, it's a good situation. We can beat this team. But we have to see. He's going to have to learn. You know, you could say that Juju needs to be out there. What do they always say? Baptism by fire. The only way a quarterback learns is you got to throw him out there and let him take the lumps, right? But sometimes when guys take a lot of hard lumps, it could also hurt their confidence going forward. So it's a very delicate situation. I hope you all are enjoying the program tonight. The post-game analysis. Let me go ahead and look at some of your thoughts in the chat room before I end today's program. So what do we have here? Okay, Peggy Roster says they already talking about the 3-quarter blockers, but Coach Prime always do different things with his players. Yeah, that is true, Peggy. You are definitely on top of it. We got Alicia in the house. How you doing, sister, for coming over and being a part of one of the mods out there. Let's go and check out what God's Love had to say. Congratulations to the Buffs on the win. Thank you very much. Oh, Gordon, we got, he didn't run much. Okay, so we got Shirley's in the house saying hello to everybody. And I think that's pretty much, let me put this in here. Let me see. We've got playing for birdies. Said Ryan and Sincere made those plays happen. Ryan said that the offense, the OC called a hitch for Sincere, but he saw him one-on-one and called the 9 route. I like that. I like it. Alicia, I'm doing fine. Thank you for coming over and supporting me. And like you always do on all my platforms, I really appreciate you. Peggy, I appreciate you. Folks that are mods for me on this channel and on my other channel, The Information Man Show. Thank you for coming over and joining us this night. With that said, everybody, let me read this right here. We have, I hated today's game. Why did you hate today's game? Why would you hate today's game? Come on. Let's see. Ryan is microwave success. Salter needs to be starting. Don't like messing with his mind like that. Well, I understand what you're saying because I brought that up. Sometimes when you bring the quarterback in so early in a game like that, it can hurt the confidence of the guy that you have named as your starter. It can cause doubt in their mind, right? And you don't want to do that. It's a catch-22 because we can't deny the fact that the momentum for this football team start to pick up when Ryan Staub was put in the game. Now, you may want to call it microwave success, but the point of the matter is he came in the game. He got the passing game going. You heard what the person said, that it was supposed to be a hitch route with him and Sincere, and he went to a 9 route, and Sincere was very explosive. I got to say again, I want to see Salter improve his accuracy. There was one time in this game and one time in last week's game where he threw the ball and clearly had a man wide open, and the accuracy of the pass was not well thrown. He's got to clean that up. And maybe, I don't know what Coach Prime is going to do. I don't know what the coaching staff is going to do. But I would say that I said at opening, should Ryan start? This is what I'm putting out there for everybody to make comments on, whether good or bad. Should Ryan start next week, or should they let Salter start to maintain his confidence? Or should they go with should they go with Ryan to see if he can still create that same magic in the bottle that he did in this game? It's just a thought. I want your honest opinions, whether good, bad, or otherwise, everybody. With that said, I'm gonna get ready to get out of here, but let me put up let me see what this person Flowers is saying. How can clean your game up without reps? Well, I would imagine that between Salter and Juju, they probably got the most reps in training camp. They probably got more reps than Ryan. And I know, well, if I'm wrong about that, I can definitely say I'm right about one thing. We know that Salter's got a lot of reps because he ultimately became the starter. But we can't take away the fact that Ryan came in, played effectively when given the opportunity, which ultimately gave us some momentum to pull out this game 31-7. That's all I'm saying. When I look at both quarterbacks, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be honest here. I'm going to be an honest broker here. I have to be an honest broker here. Let me take this off and tell you all something. Let me get a little bit closer. I'm going to be an honest broker. I feel that Salters is more explosive because he gives you the dual threat combination that Ryan can't give them. He gives you the ability to break away, to get into the end zone. We saw Salter get in the end zone today. He ran a 9-yard run in during the first in the first quarter, 5 minutes and 33 seconds in the first quarter. So the one thing you can't take away from Salter is that he has great ability to escape, to scramble, eat up space. All he needs to do, in my opinion, is clean up the accuracy of his throws, get a little bit more confidence, a little bit more, be more sure of himself. Because Ryan, when he was put in the game, you could obviously tell that he felt confidence. Salter is going to have to continue to gain comfort with his position as quarterback of this team and what they're asking him to do. That's all I'm saying. I'm not punching down on this young man because the season is still young. And for all we know, Salters might be the man who pulls out some big games for us. He might get out there and pull out a big game for us next week. You just never know how this thing works. Everybody, I want to say thank you for coming over. I appreciate you. And let me read another statement in the chat room right here. We got Marlo, who says this. Marlon says this. I was surprised when I saw Farrakhan drop a pat. Yeah, Farrakhan, yeah. Yeah, that kid got talent, man. That kid got talent. And I remember that. I'm glad you brought that up. He had a football that he would love to have back. But guess what? He's gotta put it past him. He's got to get in there and work hard this week in practice, prepare for the next week, forget about that, have the ability to forget about it and think about the next game and say, when I get it, and say to himself, when I'm in the game and I got an opportunity, I'm cashing it in. Everybody, thank you. We got, let me see, Sutter says this. Yes, Salter has the talent, but he needs to build his confidence and play football. CU needs to get rid of the offensive coordinator. I do have my reservations or my skepticism about the offensive coordinator right now, but I'm not ready to throw Pat completely under the bus right now. I want to see how they won this game. I want to see how they play next week. I want to I want things to play itself out a little bit more before I start calling him out, Pat out, the way I had to call out Sean. The last offensive coordinator. Kiwana says this. Salter should stay quarterback one. If this was Shador, it never would have gone down like this. No, it wouldn't have. But this is the thing, Kiwana. You're right about that. It would have never gone down because we saw plenty of games where Shador struggled too. But this is the difference. Shador still played with more confidence. Shador, we know, let's be honest, has a more, well, from what we saw, he had a very accurate arm. I don't think if Shador was in a situation where he's got a guy wide open, that he would not be able to put that ball exactly where it needs to be. Put a little bit of finesse on it, right? So all I'm saying, because this is not about comparing, even though it sounds like I compared him to Shador. Shador's not walking through those doors anytime soon to be the quarterback at CU anymore. And once again, I can't stand the Cleveland Browns and what they have done to what they're doing with Shador. I don't like it. I was also reading today that Jimmy Horn Jr. is very low in the depth chart with the Panthers. They're saying that he was very explosive during their mini camps. They say that the young man still needs to work on his technique. Jimmy Horn Jr. still has an opportunity to develop into a star in the NFL. I will be, once again, as I told you before, I will be doing NFL content on the alumni and how they play. So if I'm not mistaken, I believe on this tomorrow, Sunday, if I'm not mistaken, that Travis Hunter plays tomorrow. I'll be watching his performance, and based on what he does out there, I will have to do a video and talk about what he's doing as well. So we're doing CU content and we're doing alumni content over here as well. Thank you very much for all your comments tonight. But there was something I wanted to say, and I forgot what it was. I was surprised when we saw that. We're going to see what's going to happen. Once again, I believe in, I'm not down on Salter. I believe that the young man could come back next week and bounce back. But I put out the question whether you believe he should start next week, because logic tells you that if you got a guy that has a hot hand, you go at the hot hand. That's why I was saying that maybe he should start next week, because you go at the hot hand until that hot hand shows you that they were a pumpkin. They went from Cinderella and they turned into a pumpkin. So we will see if they give Ryan opportunity next week and he goes out there and he turns up into a pumpkin. That will let you know that this game against Delaware was just that, a game against Delaware. So we'll see what happens, everybody. Regarding the Browns, let me see what Kiwana said here. Regarding the Browns are a garbage, or I hate to have to say this. The Cleveland Browns are a garbage organization that doesn't know how to develop quarterbacks or an overall football team to win consistently. And I feel like Shador is damn near like he's in jail. He's in the wrong place, the wrong team. And I just wish, and everybody may not like me saying this, I wish they either trade him or let him go so that he could sign with another team that's A, better football organization, that's B, has a better track record for developing quarterbacks, and that C is honestly going to think about, or is honestly going to give him a chance to be a potential future starter for the team and not bullshit around. With that said, everybody, I got to get ready to get out of here, but I got one more guest who's coming to the chat room, and we got Sister The Truth for Real. How you doing? She says, The Truth for Real. She says, yes, Travis plays at 1 p.m. tomorrow. All right. So everybody knows this, watching this channel, I'm covering CU's games and what the players do at CU, right? And all the alumni that are in the NFL that played recently with Coach Prime, whenever they have a breakout game, whenever they do something that's extraordinary, I will do a short pre-produced video. So if Travis Hunter goes out there and puts up over 100 yards and shows up and shows out, you can expect a Travis Hunter video on this channel about his performance with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Y'all take care, everybody. Peace. Take care. I appreciate you all. Thank you. This is Prime Sports Media. I'll be back next week for the next post-game show. I hope you enjoy this program tonight and many other channels out there that are doing good work on CU tonight in the days to come. Thank you. Do me the biggest favor and subscribe to the channel if you have not. Hit the bell notification. And you know what? What are you waiting for? Go over to Facebook if you got a Facebook page, your personal page, and follow this channel on Facebook at Prime Sports Media. 86,000 people over there. What are you waiting for? Get over there. I'm putting video content over there for your enjoyment and pleasure. Take care again. Peace.
Listening to Prime Sports Media. Thank you, baby. Thank you all for watching the program. This is Prime Sports Media. Yes.